Alligator, Uber driver, Awkwafina, and karate. We're going to talk about all of those right here on LAOFCS Show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
What up, everybody? This is yours truly again, Rama Screen. How's it going? And it's another episode of LAOFCS Show where we're going to be discussing so many cool new movies coming out this weekend. And I'm here joined by my fellow LAOFCS members, Karen and Maggie. Karen, let's start with you. Can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Well, I'm Karen Peterson, and I write for AwardCircuit.com, an entertainment site. We cover everything awards related all year long. And I also host two podcasts, the Watch and Talk and the Citizen Dame podcast.
All right. Go ahead, Maggie.
Hi, I'm Maggie. This is actually my first time on this show. It's very nice to meet you guys. I work for World Journal. We're the largest Chinese newspaper here in U.S., serving the Chinese community here. And it's been 40 years, I think, the newspaper has been here. And we have the website, worldjournal.com. And so for anyone who can read Chinese.
Thank you so much for sharing that, ladies. Let's get right to it. One of the new movies that comes out this weekend, unfortunately I haven't screened it yet, so I'm gonna kind of take you the lead on this, but I'm looking forward to screening it hopefully sometime this Sunday, because I'm a big fan of beasts and creatures and deep blue sea kind of stories. Of course, I'm talking about Crawl, starring Kaya Scodelario and Barry Pepper, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes, and a big ass alligator. So
5 big ass alligators.
5 big ass alligators. My bad. Okay, so take it away. What did you guys think? Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it last night. I don't know when you saw it. Yeah. You go into movies like this, they're going to be silly, they're going to be ridiculous, really bloody, that kind of thing. And this definitely does not disappoint if that's what you're looking for. I thought that some of it was a little beyond ridiculous for me. Like the fact that there are alligators that are hanging out during a hurricane just looking for people to munch on was a little bit like, all right, that's fine. But it's a fun movie. It's, the special effects are actually pretty great. I thought that, the story itself is, it's exactly what you expect from a movie like this.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what I expected. It's just a couple of alligators having dinner, basically. And I actually have to Google, the alligator and see if it is really that big, because it looks so big in the movie. But I did see some of the photo online. They were big ones, and yeah.
Wow, I thought crocodiles are bigger, so the alligators are pretty huge in this one, huh?
Well, they can get to about 14 feet or so, which is not insignificant.
Yeah, and also it just it's not like a shark movie in the really blue ocean and the beautiful sand and bikini girls. No, it's actually in a dark and very creepy house. And also the water were quite dirty. So some of the part I feel like a little bit gross.
You have a father and a daughter that are trapped in the crawl space underneath the house during a Category 5 hurricane. Mm-hmm. And these alligators are looking for refuge, probably, from the storm. And, they find
one thing is, I feel like in those kind of movie, it's good to be the dog, because the dog always survive.
Not always.
You remember the Mag from last year? It was the same thing. Yeah, but the dog is really cute in this film.
And the dog does live, so.
So this will join the ranks of Jaws and Meg and other creature movies out there, Jurassic Park, dinosaurs,
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely more on the level of the Meg than Jaws, but yeah.
It's pretty intense though. After 20 minutes, and it's basically no toilet time, I feel.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute movie that you're really glad it's not longer, because you can't handle it if it's longer than that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Kaya, of course, from the franchise with The Maze Runner, and of course Barry Pepper from Saving Private Ryan. So I'll definitely check it out. I'm not a big fan of alligators, that's for sure.
And you won't be after this one either.
Yeah.
But I have 2 reasons at least why I want to go.
Right.
Anything else to add? We're good?
I think that's good for that one.
Yeah. Crawl. So go check it out, guys. It opened last night, so it's getting the buzz. And also the next movie that we're going to be discussing, of course, that opens this weekend wide, is Stuber. I saw this at the screening last week at 20th Century Fox Studios, And you know what? This came out at South by Southwest, and people were like buzzing about it. But I was disappointed by this film. I thought it was a huge letdown, mainly because the comedy just didn't work. I don't know if it's Kumail's ad libs or improv, but the jokes just didn't hit the target for me. I wasn't laughing at all. And as far as the action buddy part of the film, it didn't work either because the script was coherent. Some of the direction was choppy, and by the time they're like, "Oh yeah, we're friends now," I'm not buying that. There's nothing leading up to that, solid enough to make me buy that you are now fast friends instead of, these two bickering individuals. So to me, Stuber is not as great as people, may think it is. So what do you guys think of Stuber? Did you guys get to see it?
Yeah, I saw that one a few weeks ago, and I was in a screening room full of other critics who were laughing so hard, and I just thought, what am I missing?
Yeah, right.
Right. Like that was funny. I mean, there were a couple of times I was like, yeah, okay. It's there's an old episode of Scrubs where Mandy Moore, like, whenever she finds something funny, she just says, "Oh, that's so funny." She doesn't ever laugh. That's how I felt watching this. There were times where I was like, "Oh yeah, that's funny," but I wasn't laughing at it. I did think a little bit more than you. I thought that Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista were good together.
Yeah.
I liked seeing them share the screen. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I agree with you on, just a little bit more of building that dynamic between them. And I also thought that the female characters in this movie were generally really bad, especially Betty Gilpin as this sort of love interest who is just so wasted and turned into just this weird caricature. It was too bad. It was unfortunate.
Unfortunately, I didn't see that, but I may check it out.
No worries. But to your point, I think I agree. For the viewers at home, the story is about this Kumail Nanjiani's character being the Uber driver, and Dave Bautista is this cop that happens to crash his Uber ride to force Kumail's character to like help me solve this case. That's basically the premise of it. And you know what? I don't have a problem with the characters themselves. Is that the materials is terrible. It doesn't measure up to Dave Bautista and Kumail. And that's my opinion. And the jokes they keep throwing at us just, if they fall flat.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to be, the story-wise, it's kind of trying to be like a reverse Collateral, where instead of this hitman, you've got a cop that's co-opted his Uber driver to take him around on these, like, trying to solve these crimes or find this guy. But, yeah, it was just odd, and it didn't work for me.
I did have a great time laughing at Dave Bautista squinting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He definitely was funny. And that's the thing, is like they both are really funny actors, and they do really well with what they have been given. I don't think the problems with this movie are their fault at all.
Exactly. It's one of those cases where we can't really fault the lead actors. All right, so the next movie that we're going to discuss before we get to the main event, I think I'm the only one who saw this, probably The Art of Self-Defense. Mm-hmm. Did you guys get to see it? Mm-hmm. It stars Jesse Eisenberg as this gentleman who got, attacked by, a gang of brutal people on the street. So he got traumatized by that. So he enrolled in this karate lesson or school class, whatever you call it, and to get the skill of self-defense, so he can protect himself next time he gets attacked, whenever that is. So that's pretty much the premise, and within it, it is a funny comedy. He deals a lot with the dojo, the leader or the sensei of this karate class, because it's the comedy lies in masculinity, kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. What is considered macho, what is considered manly, and because you take one quick look at Jesse Eisenberg's character, and you're like, you're not macho, something along those lines, and and then the dojo like, this is macho. Let me show you, German Shepherd's macho and stuff like that. It's a whole bit about masculinity, what is considered, man. And so that's the pretty much the gist of it. I don't want to spoil you the details. It's one of the funniest comedies of the season, but you have to have liked such movies as Napoleon Dynamite. where it's kind of like dry humor, making fun of Pedro and each other kind of thing. That's the type of humor that the art of self-defense offers.
This is Ryan in the booth real quick.
Yeah.
I actually did see this movie at a screening
Oh.
a few weeks back, and I completely agree. It is so funny. Like there's such a unique comedic style in this movie that's just like a Napoleon Dynamite or like a Nacho Libre.
Exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out then.
Yeah, if you like that kind of brand of humor, go watch the Art of Self-Defense. You will have a great time. So let's get right to the main event. By that I mean, every week we LAOFCS members we vote on the movie pick of the week, and this weekend the winner of our votes is The Farewell. Yeah. Woo! I like that.
I don't even think the vote was close this time.
Yeah, right. It was like, oh my gosh, I love this movie. But let me throw it to you guys. Have you guys seen it? What do you guys think? Go ahead, Karen.
This is actually the first film I saw at Sundance this year, and I was just like, well, I may as well go home now because I'm not going to see anything better than this. And it's true, I really didn't. So the story, it's I love that the subtitle on it when it starts is based on an actual lie, because this is a true story from Lulu Wang, the director, from her own family, and just kind of summing up the story here.
Go ahead.
So basically in China, it's very common if someone is dying, if they have a terminal illness, you just don't tell them, because why make them sad or scared? And also, if they don't know they're dying, they might not die. So this is what's happening. Her grandmother, who she's very close with, has been diagnosed with a terminal illness. She's got about 4 to 6 months to live. But the main character, which is played by Awkwafina, her name is Billy, she is living with her family, her parents in New York, and they stage a wedding with her cousin to get the family back together. So they're all saying goodbye to grandma, but she doesn't know that. She has no idea. So it's a very interesting premise, but it's one that really works because it's a drama, but it's funny because families are funny. There's a lot of really brilliant moments of humor, but it's so heartfelt. Awkwafina is phenomenal in this. I thought it was such a great performance from her, and it's fun to see her do something that's so different from what we saw her in last year with her breakthrough performances in Ocean's 8 and Crazy Rich Asians. To see her do something just completely opposite of that was really good. Tai Ma and Diana Lynn, who play her parents, are great too. It's just all around. It's such a lovely movie. I love that it addresses cultural differences, but it doesn't ever take a stand on, well, this is better than that. It just shows that we have a lot of differences, but a lot in common too.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I really like this movie. I saw it at the Asian Pacific Film Festival, and I saw the audience cry and laugh during the movie. It's a really emotional movie, and I really connected to it because I feel this movie is basically for the people who actually left their home and pursue their dream somewhere else. And it's just so true in terms of family dynamics, cultural difference, and also it's a very authentic portrait of Chinese culture. I just feel like in the film you can see so many scenes about family having dinner together, and the food and how they have dinner, the daily life routines, and how they make the food is just really, really real and authentic. So that really make me miss home and miss my mom's cooking. Yeah, and I just want to point out that this film actually 80% of the dialogues are in Mandarin Chinese. I really appreciate that they do that because even that for the Chinese American here, when they talk to their parents or grandparents at home, they do sometimes speak Chinese. So it's and also I think 90% of the film was actually shot in Changchun, which is the city that in this film, and also the hometown of the director Lulu Wang. Yeah, I appreciate her effort actually really go there and did this. Yeah, so that just make this film really feel authentic.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It also makes me think like, okay, if I am terminally ill, would I want to be informed of it, or would I want to be given the good lie? Because the good lie is nice too. So that it's gonna, and it's not like the movie is like forcing the audience to kind of cast judgment or like, oh, that's ethically wrong or that's ethically right. It's not. It's like that's just the culture. That's it's not right or wrong.
Yeah, I think it's actively asking you not to make a judgment.
Yeah.
It's saying like this is just how we do things.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I love that it does it. Now, I also love the movie. To your point, Awkwafina really floored me in this one. I was like, okay, this is not the comedic, brash, loud Awkwafina, in Crazy Rich Asians. Like, wow, she can actually do some drama, it really gets that emotional notes. I love that. And, being an Asian, I appreciate the movie as well, but the movie also speaks more to just, Asian. I think, especially for me, part of the millennials, I can relate to Awkwafina's character struggle. The whole thing, trying to find a job, trying to, get the next scholarship, whatever that may be. And there's one scene that also really hits me as well in this film. The dinner scene, there's a clash between, in China, we can be millionaires easily.
Right.
It's like, in America, how fast can you be a millionaire? So there's this clash between like, okay, well, we know better because we've gone to America. And it's like, no, we know better because we stay in China.
Right.
There's that clash of culture too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly like what's gonna happen if I go back to China and the talk, between the family man. That's why I feel like the director really captured it very well. Yeah, and so just like you said, I feel like like Awkwafina is basically actually her character. She actually very close to that character as well because she actually have a grandma in Beijing. She talked in Mandarin Chinese with her grandma as well. So she told me that, and also she actually learned a lot of Mandarin there. Just right at when they're doing their shooting, she just practiced with the local Chinese. I feel like she speaks very well in this film. Yeah, in Chinese.
One other thing that I really love, and thank you for sharing that, but one other thing I really love is the way that Billy's parents, are portrayed too. Because so often in movies like this, you get they're just in the background. They maybe show up once in a while, but they're really fleshed out in this. And like I really love seeing that relationship that she has with her mother, who you get the sense that mom's a little disappointed that she hasn't, made certain accomplishments in her life, but there's still a lot of love there. And she still really just, encourages her daughter and respects her. And then with Tai Ma's character as her father, seeing how much guilt he has over having left his family years ago and not being there for his mom as she's, when she lost his father and all these things that have happened over the years. I think it's such a beautiful portrait of a whole family.
Right, and also that generation, they like to put all the pressure on themselves. They don't tell their parents how sick they are, and sometimes they even don't tell their children, that their grandparent may be sick. At first, I feel like the parents doesn't really want to tell Billy about that and don't want her to go to China either. So it's kind of really true because like us, when we go to U.S. to study or work, a lot of times when our grandparents or family member die in China, we don't even know. The parents don't tell us until after the funeral because they feel like, we don't want to bother you. You're far away. If we tell you, it's not gonna, just do anything different. So a lot of times I learned my grandparents died like after, a while. They just don't want to worry me. And even my father went to a very small surgery and he did not tell me, or even my mom, because my mom actually stayed with me at that moment. He just came in to visit my son. So basically my father just went himself, and then after that they tell us that he actually went to the hospital and did the surgery. So it's like a Chinese culture, they just don't really want to share. Sometimes they feel like if I tell you it's not gonna make a difference, then why not bother you, why not make you sad? So we're just gonna do it ourselves. And then especially that generation, they just really want to control everything. They feel like I think still about the family, not just for myself. So I make decision for you, like that. Yeah, it's just grandma in this film basically totally control that wedding. You can tell, and then the mother control Billy. It's just like they just want to make decision for their children. That's very true.
I agree. Man, it's so amazing how Lulu Wang just covers all these grounds in this just one movie. Another thing that I want to point out also when Awkwafina's character talks to her mom, or had a heart talk with her mom. I was like, why did you have to, bring us to America? There's so many things to change here. I could have just stayed here with my grandma. It's like, because it angers her that things have changed over the many years. Like, well, this is not there anymore. It's like, darn it, now I can't be with my grandma. And then at the end, grandma's like, oh, you got to go back. You got to face, your life. So there's something deeper there about Awkwafina's character, maybe fear or anxiety, but. Also, I want people to watch this. I know it opens only in select theaters, right?
This week, it opens wider next week.
Right.
Okay, so go check it out. And it's gonna be in more theaters next week, so it's a must-see, definitely.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question,
Yeah.
guys? This is Ryan in the booth again.
Go ahead.
Do you think that this movie stands a chance for maybe awards during awards season?
I definitely believe so. I think so.
I would say definitely look at, when it comes to Oscars, I mean, that's a big word, but when it comes to that, I would say definitely look for Lulu Wang in screenplay.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
I think Awkwafina will be on a lot of short lists for Best Actress. Definitely there. I think this is going to have a very good chance in the Indie Spirit Awards for sure.
Yeah. The only obstacle is probably just because the language. I don't know if the voters are gonna be, feel like this is more like a foreign language film. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think it might actually technically meet the standard of a foreign language film, but it is an American movie, so I don't know if they could do that. But yeah, I think that some of the non-Oscar awards, I think this is going to do really well and get a lot of attention, and it should. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, I'm so glad this movie got to made and then also released. I think it's even that I feel like it's more related to this than the Crazy Rich Asians, but you have to say the Crazy Rich Asians actually opened the door. If that one doesn't really open the door, maybe not gonna have the chance to see this one released in America.
Yeah, that's I think that's very true. And what I think is wonderful about that, and the fact that The Farewell is getting out into the audience, is the fact that, I mean, you talk a lot about how you relate and you understand it so much because of your own family, but I think that the family dynamics that we see in this make it something that so many people can relate to across cultures, which I think is just makes it even more special.
Yeah, and I also just want to point out about the food in this film, because it's very rare to see Northern Chinese food. If you see closely on the table, it's very different from like dim sum or the food that we saw in America or like panda, So it's authentic, and because most of the movie that we see happen in China is actually like a history movies, like in the back, way back, and very, very few modern movies, and very few happen in northern China. So I really appreciate that.
As an Asian, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I actually was not too crazy about Crazy Rich Asians because I'm not rich, I can't relate to it. But the Farewell, it's about working class folks. Right. I was like, I'm a working class man. I can relate to that on that level, and it covers a lot of themes that I can relate to as opposed to Crazy Rich Asians. And lastly, the grandma's exercise.
That was so true. I mean, if you go to Beijing or Shanghai, those gardens in the morning, there's so many people will do that.
I mean, I could see a lot of benefits from it. It sounds great.
And then the actress Zhao Shuzhen played Nai Nai is awesome, right? She actually is a Beijing actress. She lived there, and then they find her from China. Yeah, I think she's really great in it.
And the one who plays the dad is going to be in Mulan too.
Yeah. And also another fun fact is the actress that played Little Nai Nai, the sister of Nai Nai. Yeah. She is not an actor. She actually is Little Nai Nai. She is the sister of Lulu Wang's grandma. Mm-hmm. So they just find her really great. So they just put her in it to play herself.
I also want to point out, too, just like behind the scenes, this is a really international cast. The cinematographer, the costume designer, everybody involved in this production, a lot of them are Chinese. Mm-hmm. There are some that are American, but there's like Spanish and Italian. I mean, it's a probably one of the most international crews that we've seen in a movie probably ever.
And they special cast Dinah Lin and Tai Ma, who play the parents. They also actually immigrants. They from China, but they went to another country and then start their lives. So they're related to the character as well. Yeah.
I love it. So go check it out, guys. The Farewell going to be opening more nationwide theaters next week, but it's in select theaters this weekend. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about what we just saw this past week, and it's a roaring new movie from Disney. The live action, I should say probably CG action, because there's no human in it, of The Lion King. And I find this to be very underwhelming. I was disappointed by it. It was pretty much a carbon copy, except with photo, but using photorealistic, animals that look like the real thing. That's all. That's the only difference. Everything else, beat by beat, the same thing, same song, same plot, same scenario. I probably like Aladdin a lot better than this one. Aladdin has something fresh with the Prince Ali choreography, with Naomi Scott's song that just it stands out. Here, there's nothing different or fresh about The Lion King.
But don't you feel like it's funnier? I think it's funnier than the
Timon and Pumbaa are hilarious.
They were so good. And of course, when you see, the how they do the CG for the baby Simba, it just looks so cute. You want to touch
baby lion.
The lion's hair, right? There's still a different feeling than the animation, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Even though it is exactly the same, I was thinking about this a lot this week after I saw it, because this is not a live action movie. It's definitely animated. In fact, Jon Favreau says that there's only one shot in the movie that's real, and of course, then you spend the whole movie trying to figure out which one it is. But I was thinking about the fact that when I was a kid, I didn't watch a lot of stuff that my parents watched when they were kids, and so I think this is the movie for the next generation. It's beautiful. I don't think that it reaches some of the same emotional beats. I don't think some of the characters are as strong, but this is the kind of thing that kids now are watching. This is what they're expecting to see in entertainment. They haven't grown up with hand-drawn animation like we did.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is not really for us. This is for them.
And this is for those our age who don't like a lot of changes done to movies that they grew up loving. The people are like, oh no, you ruined my childhood. Those kinds of people. It's like, fine, here you go, The Lion King remake for you.
Right, but seriously, give Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen like 100 movies together because they are amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
I had no idea Billy could sing, but that guy can carry some tunes.
Well.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic cast.
Overall, so far I think 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm seeing it here. So
It seems a little low to me, but
exactly. But the movie comes out next weekend, so the audience score will be much higher probably. I'm guessing. Right now, the critics is 59%. And lastly, I want to squeeze in Mulan trailer. I gotta ask about you guys because I love this trailer. It dropped last week, and it's my favorite Disney movie. If you ask me, my favorite Disney princess is Belle, but my favorite Disney movie was Mulan. I grew up loving that film. With Ming-Na Wen, Eddie Murphy as Mushu. And so I was really anticipating this. And you know what? The trailer looked awesome to me. And the star looks badass. And I don't have a problem that the movie doesn't have Mushu, or I think it's not going to be musical. They're going to cut down some of the songs. As long as it's as badass as the trailer makes it out to be, I'm all in.
Right. Yeah. It's very well received in China.
Okay.
So I just read the social network Weibo that there's so many people just so looking forward to this film. I think it's gonna make a lot of money in China. There's only some question some people will ask why it's not in Mandarin Chinese. It's in English dialogue.
Oh, the language.
But then I think most people understand because of course it will be adapted into Chinese when it's open in China. And also they just say, why Kung Fu Panda is in English, why the lions in Lion King are actually speaking English. It's the same thing. So it's a Disney version of Mulan. So yeah, I think there's only one problem they picked out is in the trailer there's a house. The style of the house is it's not correct historically, just because it was actually not exist at that period of time. It's not exist until 1,000 years later, and also it's a Fujian style in south of China, but Mulan stories actually happen in northern China. But that's just minor detail. But most of the people really excited about it. They like the looks of Mulan. They like the fighting scene. They like the the design of the the background and everything, the costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this movie. When they started announcing all these live action films and photorealistic ones, the only one I was really excited about was a remake of Mulan, because I think that that's a story that will resonate in a lot of different ways from some of the other ones. And I think that it's a story that, we're talking about Crazy Rich Asians and The Farewell and all these movies with Asian casts, and how we just need more of those stories. This is the time. It's a great moment. And I think that this story is going to really be exciting for a lot of little girls and boys to grow up and see that. And I'm really excited about it. And I think that cutting out Mushu, cutting out the music and making this a completely different thing is really what Disney's kind of been missing out on with some of these live action films, translating just the animated version, just making it into a live action one. You lose a lot when you do that. But I think making Mulan into something that's a very different story, then kids can watch this, adults can watch this, and then they can go back and watch the animated version. It's the same story, but in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. And I think you can enjoy both for totally different reasons.
Yeah, the world is big enough for one animated Mulan and one live action Mulan. Mm-hmm. One doesn't have to replace the other. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh my God, they took out Be a Man song. Why? That's the end of Mulan. No. You still have that 1998 animated movie. It's still there. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, whereas a movie like The Lion King, you've got one camp that's going to just be firmly entrenched in only watching the 94, and then you're going to have other people who are only going to watch the 2019. Mulan, I don't think will have that problem.
I don't think so either. Mm-hmm. Any last words on Mulan?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see Jelly and Li Gong and Donnie Yen's character, because they are really famous. I think people from all over the world know them, and then they're gonna be in this film as well. That's an awesome cast. Yeah, I'm just really curious about, I think maybe what I heard that Li Gong is going to play a villain in the film. So I'm really looking forward to see that. Yeah.
And I'm very excited for Nikki Caro, female directors.
Right.
Super jazzed.
Well, Whale Rider, right?
Right.
Whale Rider.
She did McFarland USA.
And that North one with Charles Strong.
Yeah, North Country.
North Country. Mm-hmm. Man, fantastic filmmaker. Great storyteller. Mm-hmm.
And she directs acting nominees.
Exactly. So the perfect storyteller for the movie. All right. I think our time is running out. Thank you so much, ladies. We have discussed so many things in the span that we have here on our LAOFCS show today. So before we take off, real quick again, do the plug. Where can the fans find you, Karen and Maggie?
Oh, yeah. My stuff is usually on worldjournal.com, and I have Twitter, Maggie Ma, and also Instagram, Blue Cat in LA. Thanks.
The easiest place to find me is on Twitter and Instagram at Karen M. Peterson, because I link up all my work at Award Circuit, Citizen Dame, The Watch and Talk, everywhere.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook, Rama Screen. Also subscribe to youtube.com/RamaScreen1. Next week, new panel will be hosting the LAOFCS show, and so stay tuned for that. Till next time, thank you so much, you guys. Let's rock this.
Thank you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its own